we're going to need an industrial strength plunger to unclog the shit-filled toilet that is this movie. We watched Drainiac. We watched it so you don't have to, so you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show.
What's up, Moon Goons? Welcome to Horrible Horror, the show where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Marshall Hampton. With me today, filling in for Aaron, because you know what? Sometimes life just happens and you can't always be there. Friend of the show, veteran of the show, good friend, Chris Samples is back. Thank you, Chris, for coming in. I know it's short notice, but appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. Your enthusiasm is outstanding, and I actually get to sit in the big boy chair today. So I'm pretty excited
you
about
got Aaron's normal chair. You got the big boy. So Chris, as always, is awesome. He brought over drinks for us. He brought over a case of Coors Light. So we're gonna be drinking some fine silver bullets because we need it today. Because this movie, Drainiac, is just a shit fest. This movie was actually a listener suggested movie. We were given this as a suggestion back during the contamination, the con we went to back in June, and I was finally able to get around to doing it. So thanks a lot for suggesting this piece of trash. Appreciate it. Making me sit through this.
Yeah.
This movie was released straight to video. No surprise there.
No.
October 12th of 2000. But for some reason, the version on Amazon, which is where I watched it.
I watched it there too.
For some reason, is the revised version that was released in 2007.
I see.
So if this was the revised version we watched, I really would hate to see the original.
I actually almost had to call you last night and be like, I'm not doing this because when I went to get it on Amazon, I don't have Prime. So I had to actually rent it, and they only offered a 3-day rental for $5. I was like, I gotta pay $5 to watch this movie? I'm like so on the cusp of like calling Marshall and being like, I'm out.
Yeah. And I wouldn't blame you. $5 for this movie is too much.
Yeah. But I did it just to come through for you guys.
Oh, you're a trooper. But apparently it's also on, you can find it on YouTube and Google Play. Again,
See, I tried finding it on YouTube.
I don't think it's like, YouTube now has like a paid service, a lot like Hulu and Amazon. So it's like I don't think it's like necessarily just pull it up and watch it. It might be one of those, pay YouTube Red, or I think it's called.
Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The only saving grace about this thing is it is a little bit shorter than the average movie. Its runtime is 1 hour 16 minutes, which is actually 1 hour 13 minutes and 5 seconds if you take out the end credits completely. So the cast, you don't need a fucking. There's only 2 people I wrote down anything about in this cast. Alexandra Boylan plays Lisa. Now this is her first movie role, and she goes on to have 41 other credits to her name. I guess other indie stuff and maybe some TV here or there. Right. And then Georgia, I'm probably gonna pronounce her last name wrong, but Hatzis, Hatzis. This is also her film debut as well. But she also has 15 credits, but she go on to do movies like Jack and Jill, that horrible Adam Sandler thing. Okay. And then she was in the show Hung, which I can't remember if that was Showtime or HBO, but it was about
that was
gigolo
HBO.
with Thomas
I actually
Jane.
liked that show a lot.
Yeah, I remember watching the first season.
Died after like 2 seasons.
Yeah. So she was in that. Other than that, that's all you need to know.
Was that the Julie character?
Yes, Julie was. Okay. Yeah, that was Julie. So we're gonna put on our waders and we're gonna go shit diving in this. So the movie opens on Christmas Eve a few years ago with a pair of derelicts sitting around a fire on a cold, snowy winter night out in the woods.
And immediately you can tell that this is a low budget film. I mean, the film quality alone is just
shit. It's not. It's again like it was. Whether it probably wasn't digital, who knows? But I mean, it was. No, I mean, originally made in 2000, released in 2000, so probably made in '99.
It almost
Still,
looked like they
yeah.
had like the old school like camcorder recording this movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I
shitty.
know exactly what you're saying. I totally agree with you. The quality, the production value is not there at all in this movie. So basically what happens is these two bums, derelicts, they get into an argument over the fact that bum 2 catches bum 1 holding out on him with a bottle of liquor. He's like, you have that? You're holding out on me? Oh, we're going to fight over it.
Apricot schnapps or something.
It was something ridiculous, yeah. So a fight breaks out over the booze. During this, the fire, which is pitiful anyway, it's really pathetic fire, gets put out, and this leads to more fighting, and they end up chasing each other around. And that's how it opened. I mean, there's really nothing
at one point,
to say.
one of the bums punches the other one in the nose, and he's like, blood? And he starts going crazy and chasing after the other guy.
Yeah.
Gets him on the ground, and it's like he's punching him, but he's obviously punching the ground. He's not even actually punching the dude in the face or anything. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. And I think during that, the bum who's doing the punching, like, happens to look up and says, oh, look, there's a house here all of a sudden in the middle of nowhere.
Which looks extremely creepy.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they go inside. They just stop fighting all of a sudden. It's like, hey, let's go in there because it will get us out of the cold. So they break in and they crawl in. They get in through a basement window. So they crawl in through the basement window. And once inside, we find this green goo like leaking out like the pipes, the overhead pipes.
One of the drains, yeah.
Yeah. And the bum in the leather jacket, who's like this guy's such like he was just
he's like a goon.
greased. Yeah, he was like their goon. Like, I just wish he had greased hair back, but he's straight up goon. Leather jacket. He wipes some of it onto his fingers to examine it because that's what you do with a mystery goo. You
I guess so.
Wipe it on yourself. And do you see the goo in this really shitty effect? The goo on the finger comes to life and like forms into like a fanged mouth.
Right.
And it starts moving up his arm and spreads over his chest and his neck as he falls to the ground screaming. The goo continues to spread over and cover his face, which melts away into this gooey, bloody mush mess.
His whole face just melts right off.
Yeah.
At one point, he like grabs the other dude, like, "Help me, get it off me!" And it gets the whole time. I think the right side of his face is just melting off.
Yeah.
And suddenly you see him fall to the ground, and he's a skeleton.
Yeah.
Just like oozing.
Yeah, in seconds, this thing, he goes from human to just bones in a matter of seconds. So the other bump scrambles up the stairs, back out the window, into the night. The camera pans back over to the now, like you said, skeletal remains of the bum, and the goo we see kind of pours out the sleeve of his leather jacket and like goes like into the earth, like kind of sucks into the earth, and that's it. And then you re-roll the opening credits. Right. That's how this thing starts.
And actually, at this point, I'm like, man, you can already tell it's low budget. Mm-hmm. And as shitty as those effects were, I didn't think they were bad in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of cool the way that the goo like ran up his arm, and
I'll give you that. Like,
you know what I mean?
I guess again for a low budget, being what it is, like it was decent. Like, it was better than what you would probably normally expect for such a lower budget film.
Absolutely.
Of its time, but.
This
This is just the opening scene. I mean, it's okay. It gets way worse from here on out.
Oh, yeah.
So we transition.
I just wanted to make a point. Say at this point,
at this point, it's okay. Okay. So we transition in on Julie. She's returning home to her like crabby ass father. She goes straight to her room, changes, gets into bed.
Well, Dad's bitching at her. Saying,
yeah, where have you been?
Ain't been.
Yeah.
You're coming home late. We got an early day tomorrow. He's just a complete dick.
Yeah, complete ass. So she's shown tossing and turning and for way too long. But this goes on way too long.
Like as soon as she goes to bed, all of a sudden Dad's TV gets way loud.
Yeah.
Did you notice this?
Yes, I did.
And I couldn't tell if he was watching like a horror movie or if it's like he's watching porn. I had to watch this shit fest like twice just because that's what I do. You know how I do. I go through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, she going to bed and like Dad's turning on porn?
I know what you're talking about because I kind of thought the same thing because it sounds just like it does have a very porn or horror.
Like some shitty music and like a chick screaming. I couldn't tell if it was like a horror movie or if it was just.
I 100% agree with you because I had the same thought process. Like, is he just like down there in the living room like jerking off with his daughter upstairs?
Dad's like
He's in his lazy boy with like his bottle of like lotion next to him, some Kleenex. He's just going to town.
Right. Oh God. What a dick.
So again, we for way too long for a movie that's pretty short. They show her tossing and turning in bed,
right?
And we go into dream mode, and we get like all of a sudden like several pairs like monster arms like rip up through her mattress and grab her by the arms and legs, and they hold, and the arms hold her down.
And these crazy tentacles come out.
Yeah,
too, and like...
these tentacles like come up between her legs,
right?
And followed by like, this, and then like this large like monstrous worm-like creature. It's really weird, hard to explain what this thing is. I think it comes
up out of the bed or something. But yeah, it is weird because it's got these teeth, and it looks like a worm.
Yeah, it's like a worm, but like fangs. It's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
It almost looks like one of those things that you would see like they show you like one of those like those like living like organisms that you can only see with like in a microscope that looks super like monstrous. It looks like one of those things.
It's
I wish I knew the name. Like, I could think of the name.
Again, at this point, I'm like, man, this is kind of a cool effect for the quality of the movie. I don't know.
So the worm crawls up her body, and then just like from Alien, the movie Alien, it opens its mouth, and then a smaller mouth comes out of the worm's normal mouth and latches itself onto Julie's neck. Now, I can't tell if this is Julie's neck is supposed to be bleeding, or if it's goo that's coming out from the worm's mini mouth. But either way, it just looks like Julie's neck is covered in what looks like sweet and sour sauce.
Right.
Because it doesn't look it's not like reddish. Yeah. It's kind of orange. It looks like sweet and sour sauce.
I took it as where it was like sucking her blood, you know.
That's what I thought was supposed to happen.
Drainiac, I was like,
Draining, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I thought, okay, it's draining blood, but it was so non-blood
course,
colored and looked like, I was like, what is that?
I'm sure they used whatever they had on hand.
Yeah, okay, it could have been sweet and sour sauce from like
lunch. We got some ketchup here. Let's mix it with water. Let's see. Oh, that's close enough to blood. Yeah.
So she wakes up from her dream. Dad's yelling at her for making too much racket.
Shut the fuck up. You're ruining my porn.
Yeah, I can't jerk off with you up there screaming. Shut up. Sorry, that's the image. Oh God! It's fine. All right, so the morning comes and she goes for a jog around their quaint little town, small town, and she stops at the cemetery by her mother's grave. So now we know her mom's dead, out of the picture, and she has like a little short talk with Mama's gravestone, and then she runs home. Again, Father gives her grief for not helping her load the car. They get in and they start pulling out the driveway.
Dad's just a complete dick to her. Yeah, like just, a complete dick.
Oh, complete ass.
And his super sweet Dodge Caravan.
Soccer mom van. Yeah.
Mid-'80s Dodge Caravan.
So as they're pulling out the driveway, Julie's friends pull up in their car, like right behind them, blocking them from getting out of the driveway. And the friend's like, hey, Julie, come with us. Let's go hang out. And she's like, I can't because I have to go help my father clean this new house that he bought, so he can flip it. That's basically what the whole thing. That's the premise of this movie. He bought some shitty house so he can flip it.
Yeah.
During the drive, so we move on. Now they're driving. The father tells her that she's so screwed up that she should get therapy, and just being a complete bastard to his daughter. Just makes fun of her. Not making fun of her, but just blames her for everything.
Like, are you gonna pay for therapy? He's like, why should I pay for therapy?
Yeah, I'm not the one
that's screwed up. Like, God damn, dude.
Just exactly. So they eventually arrive at the house, which of course it turns out it's the same house that we saw the bums run into in the beginning.
Yep.
And they try to turn on some lights, but the house has no power.
No, outside, she's like, this place is a dump. Freddy Krueger wouldn't even live here. And he's like, who's that? One of your dumb friends? I'm like, first of all, this motherfucker, shut the fuck up. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So
Freddy Krueger, get the fuck out of here.
So they try to turn on the lights, like I said, but there's no power. And of course, that should be a no-brainer just by looking at the place. Like, you should look like this. You can tell this place is not going to have power.
No.
But plus the father should know. He should know this when he bought the place. Like, if you're buying the place, you're going to know what.
Well, he knew because he was like, power doesn't work. That's why I wanted to get here early so we could use the daylight. Just being a complete ass.
Yeah, but for some reason, it has running water.
Yeah,
this completely old abandoned house, like no power, like no window.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just barely a structure is left standing. Like a wind could blow this thing over.
Yeah.
But it's got running water.
Yeah, of course.
I had a big problem with that too.
Me too.
So again, he's so much. He calls his daughter useless. He calls her a bitch. And he's like, You stay here and clean because I'm going to go into town and take care of some business. Which, okay, AKA business is just getting drunk at the bar with his buddies.
Well, and we'll get to when he gets to the bar, but doesn't it look like he's at like an Applebee's?
It's not really like a real straight up bar, but it's
like a restaurant.
Yeah, it looks
bar.
like your little
like...
little small town diner or something like that. It's not a real bar.
Yes, I don't know, man. I really just had the feeling that I was like in a scene at an Applebee's and like 4 dudes sitting around fucking Applebee's.
I can see what you're saying. I was like, I thought the same. Like it was to me, I was like, I should want to see some like middle aged, heavy set woman in an apron standing by. I was like, what you getting? You want fellas? Grilled cheese, some eggs, and coffee. Like so, I don't know. Like that's what I was expecting. Right. So, first of all, we're not that far in the movie, but I already hate the writing of this movie. The writing is awful because they're at this point, like I said, we've said it several times already, but they are trying way too hard and forcing the father to be way too much of an asshole.
Absolutely.
It makes no sense. I mean, we get no reason why he behaves this way and why he doesn't like his daughter. There's no reason for this whatsoever. It's just, and I can't imagine any father who, especially now a single father raising, like would be such an asshole to his daughter for without any logic or backstory.
Right.
So we go back to Julie's friends now, and they're sitting at some sub sandwich shop and trying to figure out, well, what are we gonna do today? Let's go to the mall and blah blah blah. It's
again,
stupid.
You're talking about the writing. This whole scene is just fucking takes me completely out of the movie.
Yeah, it's
so long and drawn out. Like it could have just been quick and simple.
But... For as short as this movie is, there's so many scenes that don't need to be in it.
Yeah.
Like it's like they had to put these in there to get maybe over an hour runtime.
Yeah.
So they get interrupted by like the town jerk bully asshat guy named Wade.
The typical dude. I mean, he reminded me like he was trying to be fucking Nelson or what? No, from the Breakfast Club. What's his name? Judd Nelson.
Judd Nelson.
Like that character almost. You know, he's got like the green army.
Yeah,
jacket
he wears the old
on,
green jacket.
Like, got the hair down on his face. And he's trying to just be a jerk to be a jerk.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. He's the bully. He's the jerk to be a jerk who. He thinks he's like king shit, but nobody really likes him. But he doesn't care. It's that guy. You know, you've seen his types before. So he sits down next to him, starts eating their food, and demands like, "Hey, what are you guys up to today?" Even though he makes fun of them and he picks on them, but yet he still wants to hang out with them. Yeah. It's really weird. So they're like, hey, we're gonna go help Julie clean this house because they just want throw it out there just to get rid of him. Like, hey, he won't come, so we'll do that. So they all get up to leave, leaving Wade behind, who sits around for a little while and eats the rest of their food. But as soon as they drive off, Wade is seen following them. He catches up to him at a red light. He sticks his head in through the back window, like is flirting with Lisa, like hits on her like nonstop throughout this movie. She lures him closer and then rips out his earring.
That's not what she does. She has a dog leash. She finds a dog leash in the car. And she, as soon as the light turns green, she like attaches it to his ear, the dog leash to his earring.
Okay, I
thought she was gonna hold on to it as they drove away, but she didn't. She just like threw it out the window. So now he's like sitting there with a dog leash connected to his earring.
Really?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Unless I saw the revised version and you saw the
maybe I could have sworn I saw like she when she hooks it on, she yanks on it a bit and doesn't rip. But I swear she like ripped out his earring.
Standing in the parking lot with like a dog leash hung to his earring, like she's trying to call him a dog or something. I don't know.
Well, that would make sense. Yeah. All right, maybe okay. We'll go with that.
So it doesn't really matter.
It does not matter at all. But they drive off anyway.
Then he turns around and there's like this sweet sidekick that's like almost gonna run him over, and he acts like he's like banging the hood, but he's barely hitting it.
Yeah,
and then like this deliberate middle finger to the guy, like, dude, why are you flipping out? You're the one in the middle of the fucking road. And like, that whole scene just took me completely out of the fucking movie.
I totally agree. So we go back to Julie cleaning. She drops this bucket of water, and the water like comes alive at this point because we see it move across the floor, and it like moves itself into the corners of the rooms, and then it's like sucked into the floor and into the walls, and leaving no trace. The floors, the walls, everything's dry now. The water's just gone. So seeing this, Julie says herself that she just needs to get more sleep. So she's like, whatever. She goes upstairs to find this bathroom, leaves the bucket under the bathtub faucet to fill it up.
Mm-hmm.
And when she turns to leave, she spots this mouse on the sink, and she leaves the room. And the mouse is killed by a tentacle that comes up through the drain in the sink, like immediately after Julie turns and leaves the room.
She tells the rat, it's like, get to work.
Yeah.
And she walks out, and then you see this tentacle come out and grab the mouse, and then
Yeah. That's what happened. So she's wandering around the rest of the second floor, kind of checking out the house, and she finds this old book. And as she flips through it, she comes across this old black and white picture of a woman that someone has placed in between the pages of this book.
Mm-hmm.
And now she hears her friend shouting from outside, pulls her attention away from this picture, and on her way to meet them, she stops in the bathroom to check on the bucket. And the tub is now completely filled with dark, dirty water, like dead leaves, and somehow that happens. Like, how does that just fill up all of a sudden?
Well, the leaves were in the tub from the jump.
I mean, I'll give you that. It rise with the water.
Before, when she was downstairs and her going this back and forth with her dad, like when they first turned on the sink, there was like green sludge coming out of the
and
sink.
like mud, and I get that.
So I can see, okay, the pipes are backed up with something there. You got to let it run out and hopefully clean water.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that. That's not my issue.
No. But then you get then she went upstairs after her dad left, and like, because I guess the sink wouldn't work after the water sucked into the walls. The sink wouldn't work in the kitchen anymore.
Right.
So she went upstairs, and the sink in the bathroom was too small for the bucket.
Yes.
She made a point to say that, which again, this fucking
the audience is too stupid to figure that one out.
So she goes over to the tub. She tries to turn on the water, and again, it's more green sludge. So that's when she put the bucket under there to let it like run out again. But by the time she come back, it had overflowed, and there's like this.
You think? Because I don't remember seeing the bucket in the tub when she comes back.
Yeah, because she goes in to grab the bucket, and that's when.
Oh,
the hand.
Okay, all right. See, I thought she went.
See, we're so fucking confused.
Yeah. I just thought she reached into the water not to grab the bucket, but like to unclog the tub or to pull.
No, she went down to grab the bucket.
Okay.
And
all right, yeah,
and
the monster arms come back, the same we saw on the mattress.
Absolutely.
They rip out of they leash,
lunge at her.
Lunge at her, thank you, out of the water.
She steps back. She's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
She screams.
Looks
her friends
back.
Come up to find her in the bathroom.
Arms are all gone.
Yeah.
Downstairs, she meets up with her friends, and she shows them the old picture she found in the book. Says, "Hey, it looks just like my mom," and blah blah blah.
Well, they make a big deal about it looks like her mom, and she gets real defensive, like, it's not my mom.
Yeah.
It's not my mom. Like, she's bitching at her friends. The whole interaction between these four people is fucking ludicrous. Because, like, why they talk to each other like they're fucking idiots. Like, why are you guys even friends if you're going to talk to each other this way?
You have a good point on that one, yeah.
I mean, goddamn.
Yeah.
It comes back to the writing of this movie.
Yeah, the writing's awful.
Fucking shit, dude. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah, and normally I could actually. Do I even have? Okay, yeah. It's written it was written and directed by Brett Piper, by the same guy.
Yeah.
So Brett Piper, I should have said that earlier. But the blonde girl, whose name is Tanya, she gets up to go get some water, and when she turns on the faucet, the sink like explodes and sprays her with water, just soaking her wet. Like the faucet, it just literally explodes.
Explodes.
Julie then like tells them what she saw the water do earlier, and then goes to find dry clothes for Tanya. While she's upstairs searching the bedroom for clothes, suddenly the closet begins to like bleed, and zombies and like a zombie bursts out from the closet. Like what the fuck?
I don't know.
And it lunges at Julie. She cowers on the floor. The zombie then like
grabs her by the throat, kind of, and like takes her down.
Yeah, and like then rips its face off to reveal that's just a mask. And there stands Wade laughing.
Right. What the fuck?
What? Fuck you, movie.
I know, man. Why is the closet bleeding?
Yeah.
Did Wade make this happen?
Yeah, that's what I was about to. I'll ask you that too. Like,
when did Wade show up and sneak himself into the house?
Exactly.
Change into a costume.
Yep.
And hide in the closet.
Yeah, he mask costume. Like, did he make the walls bleed?
He did make a reference back when they were talking about going to see Julie, where the house was, and he's like, we used to use that place as target practice. So maybe he knew where it was, But fuck, dude.
Well, I'm saying it's just,
seriously.
yeah.
We're stretching
I'm
that.
not arguing
Fucking stretching it.
that part. I'll say he knows what the house is, or he could have found them out there.
Right.
But and it gets a small town, and most small towns have those old bands.
But
like,
you had time to like.
Well, that's the old
plot.
Jenkins place. That's the old haunted house or whatever. You know, we don't go up there.
Sounds like a Scooby Doo.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, who knows? So, but yeah, I give you credit. Like how he gets there so fast and gets into the house undetected, changes clothes, and
they didn't
sets
hear
us
his motorcycle roll up.
Exactly. Yeah, he rides a motorcycle too, which is loud as fuck.
Jesus.
So
When I say
anyway,
motorcycle, I'm not talking about like fucking Harley.
No,
it's like a shitty fucking old Honda.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But still, it's still gonna be. You'd hear that thing coming. So all the other friends they burst in now, and Tanya's soaking wet clothes are now magically dry.
Yeah.
And the word asshole is used like a dozen times in like 10 seconds in this scene.
That's like the hardest cuss word in this movie, I think. Is asshole.
And I mean, it's just shows how diverse the writing of this movie is. And seriously, like 10 seconds, assholes used 12 times. It's ridiculous. They try to kick Wade out, but he just tells him to shut up, and he threatens the one guy, Jake, the other guy, Jake. There, he's like, "I'll kick your ass,
Jake." And I'm confused by Jake. Like, is Jake just like, because he's the one dude with like 3 girlfriends? Yeah. Is he just permanently stuck in friend mode, or is he gay? I mean, I don't know.
It's got to be one of those two.
It seems like he wants to.
I think he's stuck in friend zone.
I think he's just fucking stuck in friend zone.
I think he wants to be with Julie, but he's just stuck in friend zone.
Does he want Julie?
Or it's Julie or Lisa. It's one of the two.
Lisa. Either way, he's like massively stuck. Yeah. And can't just be like, "Fuck you, bitches." Fine, I'm moving on.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what I think. Jake's just like the guy who's just stuck in friend zone.
God,
he's just
poor Jake.
Or
it's his car. He's driving them around.
Yeah, he's driving their car.
Dude, wake up, Jake.
So, alone in the upstairs bedroom, Julie notices that the water in the bathtub is now suddenly crystal clear and clean.
She walks in the bathroom to get cleaned up. And 1 minute, it's fucking dirty as fuck. She turns her back on it. She turns around again. It's like seconds. Yeah. And suddenly it's crystal clear. Yeah. It's a beautiful
it's like
bath.
Spring water.
Which, let's be honest, this house, it's got to smell like shit no matter where the fuck you're at in it. Yeah. Go ahead.
So what does she decide to do? Well, she decides to strip down and take a bath, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So even though that you just saw the water like black and you had a vision of a monster hand bursting out from it, you decide to get naked and take a bath.
What's the problem, Marshall? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Perfect logic. So anyway, but the good redeemed that you do get to see Julie naked. You even get a little bit of bush. And you know, side note, she does have a tattoo on her ass. She does have a tattoo on her ass. So she's relaxed in the tub. She closes her eyes, and then blood starts to come out the faucet and turns the water red.
Yeah. And did you notice too? There's at one point where she's like leaned back, like she's just enjoying this tub, and that blood it gets darker up by her neck, and it's almost moving up around her neck.
Yeah, it was a weird. I did notice that too. Yeah.
Again, I feel like the effects, as shitty as they were not terrible for the.
I think that's just where they happened to drop the red food coloring into it.
Maybe, but it almost looked like it was kind of like enhanced a little bit because it was like almost fondling her. It was almost weird.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe it's just the luck of the draw.
Maybe. So suddenly she's now attacked by tentacles that rise up through the drain. They wrap around her body. Yeah. Now, first of all, I did notice that even though the drain is wide open, I mean, open enough for these tentacles to come out, the water level never goes down.
No.
It does not drain the water at all.
No.
So she struggles with the tentacles, but eventually she's pulled underneath the water. Yeah. The camera pans up from like the floor to show the tub is now nearly empty with a little bit of bloody water still in the tub, but Julie's gone. It zooms in on the drain as the last of the bloody water drains away. Now a hard cut to Julie popping up out of the water, screaming from yet another dream.
Yeah. No. She pops out of the water, like screaming.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up still standing by the
Yes,
sink.
I know. It was they inception you. It's a dream within a dream.
Yes.
And it's so fucking
I'm so pissed. I wrote in my notes, disappointment.
Yes.
Because damn, that was a cool effect. It was a cool thing. I like wait for her to almost die, but How are you gonna kill off the main character? I mean,
I've seen other people when they said they do a false set, like this is the main character, and it's like, oh, it's not the main character.
Right.
Like Lisa's the main character or something.
Yeah,
Or something like that would happen. But yeah, I agree. Like,
but I was like, all right, back in it. No, fucking
So,
just killed me again.
I'm always just pissed off that we're doing dreams again. Like we just had the one with her to bed, and now we had another one, and it's like you're relying too much on dreams.
Explain why she's having these dreams.
Which they don't.
They don't. They don't even touch on it.
No.
They don't even try to explain
Like the only thing you can kind of think of is that her mom died a year ago, basically.
Is that where it's at?
You find out
her
the very end.
Gravestone says 96, but we don't know exactly.
Well, the movie wasn't released in 2000, but they say in like the movie, some of the characters like Jake or somebody mentions like her mom died a year ago. It's time to move on, or somebody says something along that line at some point in the movie.
The only thing I could think is like a time reference is early on the bums are bitching that the government can spend $50 million to find out if the president got a blowjob, but they can't give us any of it.
Yeah.
Thing. So I guess
that's
Clinton,
Clinton,
obviously Clinton.
90s.
So like 90. That was like 97 though, wasn't it?
I don't know, but I mean, this movie, some of these indie movies, they get filmed at one point, they don't get released for a while there. So
I understand.
Film mid to late 90s.
Either way, her mom died in 96. That's what the gravestone said.
Yeah.
So just we're somewhere between 96 and
99, 98.
You know,
yeah.
Okay. It's fucking.
That's the only thing that would,
yeah,
kind of give her a link to like why she's not seeing me is because she's, having emotional problems with her mom's passing. But it's not really touched
monsters,
on. Yeah, it's like it's really just, they don't. I won't even say it's glossed over because it's not even really there in the first place.
Right.
So so she wakes up from her dream within a dream, standing in front of the mirror, and like now the bathtub water is all dark and dirty again.
Back to what it was.
Yeah. She cries for a little bit in the bathroom, and then it just like cuts downstairs to the rest of the group. And again, Tanya is trying to kick Wade out, but she has no luck. And
she tries asking Jake, well, what am I going to do? Like, Jake's a complete fucking pussy at this point.
Yeah.
No wonder he's not getting any ass.
Exactly. He has no back,
he
no
ain't
balls.
stepping up and being a fucking man.
No. So she just gets pinned down by Wade and like spanked a few times before he lets her go.
He tickles her. He sexually harasses her straight up in front of everybody, you know?
Yeah.
And Jake's just standing there, well, he's not hurting her. I don't know. Lisa's like, do something. He's like, I'm a pussy.
Yeah, that is Jake.
That's exactly
So Tanya storms out of the house. Wade follows after her and basically goes from sexual harassment to straight on rape.
Absolutely.
He just like forces her to the ground and like just trying to rape her in front of he don't give a shit. There's like 3 other people here.
Nope. I'm getting some.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Lisa and Jake run out to try to stop him. He beats the shit out of Jake.
Actually, Jake steps up at this point because he fucking pulls the guy up off the ground and punches him right square in the fucking nose.
He does.
Good for Jake.
But he learns out to
But then he
gets ass kicked.
fucking pummeled.
Yeah.
I mean.
And there's a motorcycle zipping by outside. Holy crap. There's. And not only does he beat the crap out of Jake, but he actually like punches Lisa too.
Yeah.
He punches the girl
as he's like pummeling Jake. Which I mean, there's blood on his knuckles and everything. Lisa like tries to pull him up. He stands up. He fucking punches Lisa square in the fucking jaw.
Yeah,
putting her to the ground. And then Tanya looks at him like, "For real?" And he has to take a step back. He's like, "Oh God, what the fuck did I do?"
Yeah,
you know.
So. He's like, all right, whatever.
Fuck you guys, I gotta take a piss.
Yeah. Julie comes out, and Wade's like, fuck it. He goes up to licks Julie's face, and then he goes upstairs to the bathroom to take a piss.
From chin to temple, he licks her all up the fucking face and laughs at her.
Weird, yeah.
Oh God.
So he's upstairs taking a piss, and the water in the toilet bowl begins to like bubble and gurgle, and then suddenly a tentacle erupts from the toilet. Latches on to Wade's dick, and blood sprays everywhere as Wade screams in pain. His dick is ripped off.
You actually see a chunk like come off of him and down into the toilet.
Yeah.
Like, haha, that's what you get, fucking raping, woman beating motherfucker.
And then he's killed by being sucked down into the toilet bowl, but you don't really get to see it. It's implied, but that's basically what happens.
And again, there's a cool effect where it's like the blood that's on the walls runs back down the wall into the toilet.
Yeah, like the water. Like retraces its steps, or like
Right.
retreats
Mhm.
into the.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell it's one of those things where they just like roll the footage and like
Well, it's
in
like
reverse
it's
or
like
something like that.
Yeah. And that's all this liquid
Yeah.
deal like that. And I thought that was actually pretty cool. I like that. The one thing I did like to the movie was the way they did that. Like everything, even the green sludge early on.
Yeah, again, for making the most of what you got.
Absolutely.
That's one.
You could tell it was like the toilet. Like they put the water in the toilet bowl and then like laid it down and like watched it run out.
Yeah.
But then when they edited it,
They just put it in reverse mode.
Reverse,
Yeah. And I will say those practical effects
Mhm.
are the best effects in the movie, because when you get to the non-practical stuff, it gets it gets bad. So the others outside, they're heading to Jake's car, wanting to leave, and Julie says she can't leave because her father will kill her if she does.
Yeah.
So Lisa's like, "All right, I'll stay with you," and then this one by one, "All right, fine, we'll stay too," and blah blah
Right,
blah.
right.
So they all
well, no,
stay.
they jump in the car to leave.
No, not yet. They
Okay,
don't.
yeah.
That's not yet. They don't even get into the car because Drew's like, "Hey,
I got all.
yeah."
Go ahead. Moving on.
So now it just goes back to the bathroom of death, and we see all the blood. It's like we just talked about this, so we're gonna move on.
Mhm.
No sign of Wade anywhere.
Mhm.
Jake, Lisa, and Tanya think it's safe to leave. This is what we're talking. Like first, like we can't leave Julie here as long as Wade's still around.
And then
they
it
go up to
goes
check, and
the blood is all
Yeah.
sucked into the toilet.
Because like, oh, Wade's
well,
not here.
they go in to jump him, is what they said. Jake's like, "You all take off your clothes. I'll come in with this mini fucking
Was it
tire iron.
Yeah, thank you, tire.
And I'll hit him over the head."
Mhm.
And Tanya's like, "All right, he'd kill to see our tits."
Yeah.
And Jake's like, "What tits?" I'm like, "Jake, dude, you're not helping yourself
Yeah,
out here, buddy.
exactly.
Don't say shit like that, man."
So now once they see that, okay, Wade seems to be gone, then everybody's like, okay, now we can leave. It's
Right.
safe for at least we can get out of here.
Right.
So they pile into Jake's car and they start to leave, but the car gets stuck in like a mud puddle. Like, you see all the time, spinning tire, not going anywhere. But now water begins to bubble up from the ground, and essentially the ground around the car is turned into quicksand for the most part, and the car begins to sink down into the earth. Now, the three inside the car do manage to get out of the car in time, and they just watch as it sinks underneath the earth, like Luke Skywalker's X-Wing sinking into the swamp of Dagobah.
Right.
And then once it's completely submerged, the ground returns to solid normal again.
And the only thing left is the antenna.
Yeah, the antenna's sticking up out of the ground.
Which is weird. Now, did you notice? Didn't it look like a fucking toy? Like an actual toy? Dude's driving a Saab,
Yeah.
right? But I don't know, man. The effect on that just looked like it was like a toy sinking down.
It
into
probably
like a
was.
mud puddle. You
It
know what I
probably
mean?
was. I mean, that's the only way that they can
And what's
figure out how
funny
they
is
did
that
this.
when it sunk, it went taillights up.
Yeah.
As it sunk down.
But yet all you see is the antenna, which is
antenna.
on the front of the car.
Yeah. How is that possible?
That's a great... Yes. I know you saw this. I figured out where you're going, but when I first saw it, I didn't even think about it. Yeah, it goes down...
No, granted,
Because the engine's the heavy part. You're going to take the
I'm
heavy
like,
part
yeah,
first.
yeah,
and...
I'm comparing, I don't know, because this is a shitty fucking movie.
No, but you're totally right. I mean, the antenna shouldn't have been sticking up. But
plenty of other things like a nitpick on, but that wouldn't bother me.
you would think now that they would be freaking the fuck
Yeah.
out after watching their car just get sucked into the earth.
No.
But not these fuckers.
No.
They're just like, all right.
Julie's
Jakey might be like, oh, that's my car.
Yeah, Jake's like, my car.
Yeah.
Julie's like, yep, just like the water in the kitchen. I knew
Right,
it.
I knew
Something's
it.
fucked up
Yep.
here. Let's not run.
Yeah, let's not just
run
try to
away.
like, leave the house now.
Let's go back inside.
Go back in and start
See
cleaning
what's
it up.
good.
So
God.
Lisa says, well, I guess we're walking home, which Tana refuses because it's miles away.
Not walking miles.
Miles.
Yeah.
Oh my, you're
Miles.
fucking kidding me. So Julie says, well, you guys can help me clean, so then my father can give you a ride home later. And so that's what they do. They go play Little Mr. Clean and let's clean it up. And that's what, are you fucking kidding me?
She says, if you help me clean up, my dad might give you
It
a
might
ride
give you a
home."
ride home.
And Jake's
No
like,
guarantee.
might?
But I'm just like, where is the emotion? Where's the what
Nothing.
the fuck just happened?
None.
Reactions of these people. No, like, all right, well, let's just go get the pledge and the Windex and start cleaning. Like,
It's ridiculous.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, when the sink faucet exploded all over Tanya, I'd have been like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a minute ago.
Yeah. So now we cut to the father drinking at the bar or Applebee's.
I'm pretty sure he's at Applebee's, guys.
With a few other guys who all sit around complaining about their good-for-nothing kids. Like, everybody is just ripping on their kids in this movie.
Yeah.
So back at the house, Julie and Lisa...
There's a creepy part there, though, where the dad's like, she better be cleaning that house or I'll have her ass.
Yeah.
And one of his buddies like, if you have her ass, I'll have her tits. I'm like, what the fuck
you're
is
right.
this
He
old
does.
man
Like, he's
saying?
like, I'm going to fuck your daughter.
Dude. Come on.
Yeah.
And Julie's dad has no reaction
Nothing.
to
He's
that.
like,
he
no,
don't give a
fuck you,
fuck.
motherfucker. You're not touching my daughter. He's like, no,
Nothing.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Take her.
Take her off my hands. And
Jesus Christ.
So, I do want to say, I don't know about you, Chris, if you thought this, but Lisa, or at least the girl who plays her, Alexandra Berlin or something like that, she kind of reminds me of like a brunette version of Allison Hannigan in a way, like it's just with bigger boobs. Like she had a very Allison Hannigan vibe to her.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to tell me who Allison Hannigan is.
Okay, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Willow. She was the flute girl in American Pie.
Oh, yeah. How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother. Yeah,
kinda.
Just not. I'm not saying exactly, but just
No,
she had a vibe to
I
her,
guess
just
so,
a little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Julie and Lisa are talking about the death of Julie's mother, and Julie says that her mother blew her head off. And basically, other than that, this whole scene's completely pointless. That's the only.
Pretty much, yeah.
So her mother was a suicide who shot
It
herself.
started with Lisa cleaning up Jake, and he's obviously got like his busted lip is obviously lipstick.
Yeah.
He's got a welt on his face. It's obviously just lipstick. It's like this. That looks good enough.
Good enough.
Okay. And Lisa's there like dabbing him with a cloth, and he starts talking about, well, I heard that like Julie's dad killed her mom, and Julie's walking down the stairs, and at that point, and Lisa's trying to shut him up, but he keeps talking.
Yeah. That old chestnut of the.
And then Julie reveals that no, mom killed herself.
Yeah. But again, we don't really find out why. She's like
something like that she couldn't take it anymore because of her fucking dad. I mean,
I get
she kind of says that. She
okay.
kind of says that, but that's the only explanation we get.
Yeah, like if that's it, just get a divorce and move. Like,
right.
why shoot yourself?
No, I'm gonna kill myself
and leave my daughter
with this asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what?
That's just a shitty mom.
Yeah,
You're not taking
dude.
care of your kid.
Yeah, right. Because it goes back to the cemetery when Julie's doing the run at the beginning.
Right.
She says, "Sometimes, Mom, I don't blame you." What? I'd be like, "Fuck you, Ma!
Yeah.
You went out, you left me with this fucking asshole. Get the fuck out of here!" I'd be pissed. I'd stop and took a squat and fucking piss right in her grave.
Oh,
bitch! Sorry, damn. That was too much.
That's too much. Let's bring it back.
Sorry.
So
reel it in. Damn.
So the father is driving back now, and his van, his caravan, minivan breaks down. But he's able to pull off to the side of the road where he gets to check out under the hood, and smoke and steam are billowing out after he lifts up the hood, and we see the green goo come out from the steam coming from the radiator. So it just kind of like just kind of magically forms in the air, like in the steam as it rises up from the radiator.
He goes to reach into the engine and something grabs him.
Yeah, that's in the he's messing around with the radiator or something, and
something grabs him down.
It attaches the goo, like it's almost like one of those like rubbery, like those like when you're a kid, you get out like those little cord things, like those sticky hands.
Yeah.
Like you would smack on a wall, and you would.
Yes.
It was almost like that. Like the goose like smacks to his face like a sticky hand, and like pulls him down into the engine.
Right.
And he can't pull away. And it's pulling him down. And his father's screaming, and the face begins. This goo like pulls him down, and in a matter of seriously like 2 seconds, his father's face burns and melts away, leaving only a smoking skull.
Yeah.
And the green goo escapes out the exhaust pipe and again soaks into the ground and disappears.
But it reappears. You see the house, and then you see like a drain coming out of nowhere.
Okay.
See the house in the distance, but then you see the ooze like again, reverse flowing.
I was probably looking down writing my notes at that, but I missed that part. I didn't see
it's
that.
flowing back up into the house.
Okay.
Like it gets from the truck or the van or whatever, the super sweet Dodge
Super
Caravan.
sweet soccer mom, man. Yeah.
It soaks into the ground and then comes out of the ground and soaks into this drain and you see it almost like going back into the house.
See, I don't like this, and
No.
you know what? I might forget to cover it later in favorite kills, but I'm gonna so I don't forget. I'm gonna talk about it now. I don't like the fact that we just saw it basically kill Wade in the house, and you know, basically, yeah. And now it's all of a sudden out of the house, miles away, coming out of this guy's engine, his radiator. Like how?
Well,
what the fuck? How did they get there?
Well,
like
the van was already at the house. Like, why don't you show something like
go into the van before?
At that point.
If they did that, I'm like, all right, fine. They showed it get into the van.
Absolutely, but you don't see it.
No, it just materializes from the steam. It's just.
Is he just within that much of a?
Right, or that means like anybody,
house,
like if you're taking a shower like 10 miles away, can it just like materialize from your shower head? Like what is going on?
I know, dude. I'm with you. This fucking.
So, fuck it. Anyway, back at the house, Jake dumps a bucket of dirty water into the tub. Now, again, I don't understand this because, like, why would you want to be collecting the dirty water used in the tub? Like, why would you?
You see him. Yeah,
why not just toss it outside?
I don't know.
Toss it out a window, out the door. Like, why are you collecting the water in a tub? It's dirty, filthy. I don't get that.
We're trying to rationalize madness right now.
Trying to rationalize madness. So, in regards to water in the tub begins to bubble. Jake, of course, like, let me get a better look at that. So he puts his face right up next to it. Again, the water erupts from the drain. It like explodes, like soaking Jake.
Yeah.
Tanya and Julie enter, blaming him for the mess. Like, what?
Julie's like, "What are you making this big mess for? You gotta clean all this up now. Are you serious, bitch?
What?
Like, you haven't seen like
of everything you've seen happen so far, you're still gonna think it's him doing it.
Yeah, right.
Especially since you saw Tanya like earlier. Like, anyway. So again, the very next shot of the three of them, they're coming down the stairs arguing about what just happened, and again, Jake and his clothes are totally dry. Right. The very next shot, he's in the bathroom soaking wet. He comes out of the bathroom, he's dry. And Jake leads them down into the cellar for some reason. Like, we're going down to the cellar to check the pipes.
He goes down to the cellar.
Well,
they stay at the top of the stairs.
Well, yeah, they stop at the cellar, but they follow him to the cellar door. And
it's like, you're just going to make it worse. He's like, I can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
That's what he says. Like, why are you still in this fucking house?
Exactly. So we go back to the father's van, and a man walks up to it, finds the father dead. He even lifts up the father's dead head by his hair, which is bullshit, by the way, because during his death scene, he was shown having his whole head melted where there shouldn't be any hair. He was just a skull.
I'm starting to think that we honestly saw two different movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
because mine did not show the complete melting of the dad's face.
Really?
No. I saw him get sucked into the engine cavity by his arm.
Okay.
I saw a bunch of steam, and then the next thing I saw was it draining out the tailpipe into the ground.
Holy shit. Either you looked away or we did see two, because the movie I saw, it clearly, like the bomb in the beginning.
Skull and everything?
Yeah, like the bomb in the beginning, like his face is melted away to nothing but a skull.
Oh, wow.
And then when he comes back and lifts him up, he's got hair and skin. I'm like, no! You just showed me melting his face away. There's nothing there.
Did not see that.
Oh my God. How did we see two different movies? Okay.
I don't know. That is crazy.
So,
but
anyway.
This dude rolls up eating an apple, nonchalant, grabs old boy by the head and says, that's interesting.
He goes, oh yeah. That's what he says in my version. He says, he looks up and goes, oh yeah. And just drops the head.
Because I wrote it down. He says, this is interesting. And then puts the head back down and walks on. Holy shit. What is going on?
All right. So basically the same thing, though.
Amazon? Amazon? Really? How did I see a different version?
Well, let's okay. When you ordered your version, like what was the cover? What was the image? Like it said on Drainiac.
It was a girl in a tub and this weird
monsters. Okay, dude, that's the exact same one I did.
Shit.
That's fucking weird. Then
that is weird.
All right. So now we're in the basement. We're in the cellar. Jake is checking the pipes for leaks, which he easily finds. I mean, he finds them right away. And as he's looking, the pipes spring. Oh, yeah.
But he says there's like a green goo, like clogging the pipes.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, clear water starts flowing out of these fucking bursting out of these.
Yeah,
pipes.
like the pipes spring more and more leaks, and it's clear water. Jake screams, and the door of the basement slams shut, locking the girls out. Yeah. Now, at this point, the movie turns into like a slapstick comedy because Jake is shown having all sorts of funny trouble trying to get up the stairs.
Did you notice the effects too? It's like it's almost like there's a thunderstorm in the basement. Like
there's like
everywhere.
Water's raining, hail. It's like, and he can't even stand up. He's slipping and falling.
Is blowing
it's
so hard
bad
in the basement.
And like, are you fucking kidding me?
He's trying to climb up the stairs.
Yeah, he's slipping and falling constantly, and I hate this because he's acting like the water is ice all of a sudden. Like, he can't even stand up.
Right.
And Lisa tries to bash on the door and by lightly tapping it with a block of wood. She's like, I'm going to break this open. It's like, tap, tap, tap.
She's not coming with the hard end. Like,
no.
She's like,
tap, tap, tap.
Tap, tap, tap. Oh, my God. Driving me crazy.
So at this point, Julie hears knocking on the front door, thinking it's her dad. She goes to let him in, but it's not. This is the guy eating the apple who came across her father's body. Mm-hmm. He introduces himself as Plumber. Whoa. Oh. Gee, there's a... Really?
Right.
While the water now has flooded the basement so much, it's up to Jake's neck.
Yeah. He was kind of like, I'm drowning.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Plumber lets himself in and goes to the basement door, and he manages to get it open with ease. Like, he's like, ugh.
It drives me nuts to hear because they keep trying to push it in, and even when he walks up to it, it's obvious a door that pushes in. But when they show the scene from the basement of him opening it, he opens it out. I'm like, oh, God. Seriously? So this whole time this bitch is trying to push it in and it opens out. What basement door opens out? Opens into the hallway? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's just bad design work. So, Julia rushes down the stairs to find Jake sitting on the ground up against the wall. All the water is gone now. The floor is dry. Everything's dry. And what does Jake say to Julie after his near-death experience? Mm-hmm. Man, I've got to pee. What? What? No! You just nearly drowned in a supernatural flooding in a basement. You're like, holy shit, thank you for saving my life. What just happened? You're like, I gotta pee.
If I just almost drowned, I would have not only pissed myself, I would have shit myself. I would have fucking thrown up everywhere. Fuck that. Thank you for being alive.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, Jake.
God.
Pussy.
So Plumber.
Now, granted, dude, this is the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Bonkers. Fucking complete bonkers for the rest of this movie.
Yeah, it gets fucking yeah. I was gonna I can't say better than you. So Plumber is now checking out the place and tells them that they have a problem. Which no shit.
Right.
Hearing this, Julie says, "Great, the house is falling apart and my dad will be here any minute." And Plumber says, "Hey, did he drive a blue van?" She's like, "Yeah, why?" And Plumber's like, "Oh, don't worry about that. Let me go get."
You won't have to worry about him.
He's just like, "Don't worry about it. Let me go get my bag." So he brings in this old black like medicine, like old doctor's like bag you see in all the old movies, and he begins pointing out candles and other shit. And when asked what these are for, he tells them that they're for the ritual that he is going to exorcise the demons that the house is haunted.
Right.
Again, no one reacts with any shock or surprise or even skepticism at this.
He actually goes on to explain that there are water demons.
He comes up and talks about water elementals. Mm-hmm. And by an elemental one of the 5 elements that created the earth, blah, blah, blah. He rambles on about a snake god that lives in the water and water vampires along with poultrygeist. What?
And Jake's like, do you kill a water Sorry. You kill a water vampire by putting a plunger in its heart or something? I'm like, oh, God.
How do you're just like let's take a little column A, a little column B, a little column C, and just throw it all, dab it together.
I think at this point I was literally banging my head on the coffee table. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Jesus.
So, the visual in my head of you doing that is just making me laugh. So Plumber draws out a pentagram on the floor, and he grabs like his grimoire, which is a book of spells. And time passes, night's fallen. He finally tells him that Julie's father's dead, and how he goes into how he died. Julie storms off. Lisa forces Jake to go talk to her, and she basically just ends up laughing his death off, and like, ha ha ha, he's dead, ha ha.
I forget how the joke went, but I was like I was almost offended.
Yeah.
That she even made the joke. Like, your dad just died, and like you're fucking laughing about it. Damn.
Yeah,
he was a complete dick, and she deserves to like feel good about it. But
it was
like awkward.
Yeah, it was really. Yeah, I agree. It was weird. It didn't really fit.
Oh, poor taste.
And so eventually Plumber tells them that it's time to start, and they start.
It's showtime.
It's showtime. So they all lay down inside the pentagram, like heads touching and like feet out towards the circle. And Plumber lights the candles, lays them down, then he lays down with the others. And he begins calling out to the ghosts and telling them that they're no longer welcome here. And he continues ranting on and trying to exorcise the demons.
Yeah.
Lightning crashes, a new mother cries, but no. A spinning vortex of yellow light and energy appears on the ceiling above them. Right. And I'm glad you got my reference on that.
Sure
Thank you.
Live,
yeah. And we see some kind of flying imp or other tiny demon is shown flying across the screen. They look
like fireflies almost. It's weird. They look like little butterflies, and one of them, I think it's Tanya, tries to like grab one, and Plumber's like, "Don't touch them." And then you zoom up on them, and they're like these little fucking microscopic demons.
Yeah. Okay. That would say they. I don't remember butterflies, but I definitely remember like demon and like.
Well, at first when you see them like floating around, they don't look.
Maybe.
Like
yeah.
that.
I guess you're right. Yeah, they get close. So in these effects, this is where the effects go real shitty, God. Atrocious shit.
Holy shit.
Everything from here on out looks like complete ass.
Yeah, whatever I liked in the beginning. Yeah, this just fucking shat all over.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like almost like bad stop motion claymation, kind of like with the demons and some of these other things. It's really bad. So Goo and
they did better. They did better in the original Evil Dead.
Thank you for. I was going to bring that up later because when we get the reviews,
right,
so many people compare that to make that comparison.
Wow.
But I get it but that was early '80s and those effects. This was '90s and not so.
Right.
Yeah, but it is very similar to like the original Evil Dead effects. Very similar. So the green goo is shown leaking out of the pipes in the basement, and then it's inside, falling to the floor. Like it falls upwards towards the ceiling and slipping through the cracks. The goo emerges on the floor above, which is the floor they're all on. So like it just it goes from the pipes
from the basement up to the main level where they're laying on the floor in the pentagram.
They're actually on the second floor of the house, not the main level.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure they're on the second floor. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought they were on the second floor.
Well,
because
they walk right into the room from the cellar. You know what I mean?
Well, editing in this movie isn't great, so who knows where
they're at. I assume that they were on the main level.
I'll tell you why I think they're on the second floor when we get to it.
Okay.
So Jake then suddenly sees like this beautiful naked female ghost dancing, playing with her tits, and then she just rips off her face to reveal a skeleton. Yeah. Julie then sees the ghost of her father, who's missing half of his face, while a green claymation demon worm moves on and around Tanya. So it's kind of like similar to the worm we saw in the dream scene in the beginning. Yeah. Now the walls begin to bleed green goo, and this shitty-looking demon spiders crawl along the walls as the storm picks up, and more ghostly images appear above them. Plumber says, "Oh shit, that should have worked. It should be over now." Yeah. Julie's like, "Oh, what are we supposed to do now?" And he's like,
First of all, hold on. Julie's like, there's a conversation with her and her friends. Like, can we take you outside and talk about this for just a second, right? Before all this happened.
Okay.
I'm going to let him do his ritual, is what she said. You think that's a good idea? Oh, what's the worst that could happen? You burn down the house, then we have to worry about it, you know? So at this point, Plumber's like, that should have worked. I don't really know. If I'm Julie, I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean this shit ain't working, you know?
So, yeah, and his response to her...
And then he doesn't even continue, like, chanting or anything. He's just, like, letting shit happen.
Yeah,
like,
he basically says... After she says, what are we supposed to do now? His response is, die if we're lucky.
Yeah.
And just let shit happen.
Yeah, die if we're lucky. Get the fuck out of here.
So this is where I think they were on the upper floor, because at this point the roof ceiling of the room is ripped off into the night sky.
Okay.
So that's why I thought they were in the an upper floor room.
Saying.
Because
I know what you're saying.
excuse me. So
maybe
now
it was a giant. I don't know.
So yeah, it gets ripped off, and you see like this light energy cloud continues to spiral above them in the sky. And what I guess is supposed to be the big bad super demon comes out of the light, morphs a few times into different shapes and images, all of which look like horse shit.
Yes.
It hovers over the group of 5, and that just continue to lay there. Even at this point, they're like...
There was a comment where it's like, I can't move. Like, Tanya, I think, said, I can't move. Like, she couldn't actually get out of the pentagram.
Okay, I missed that, because I know Plumber... I know at one point Plumber says, don't move, stay here, you can't...
Right.
Don't break the plane.
But
Like, don't break the plane.
I think when shit happened, though, they couldn't actually...
See, I thought
move.
Tanya couldn't move just because she had... The worm was, like, pinning her down. But the others, I was like... Why? I don't know. But apparently someone's foot accidentally knocks over one of the candles, which rolls across the floor, hitting the wall, sets the curtain on fire. Plumber lifts his head to see the curtain's on fire and that it's beginning to spread. So instead of warning the others about the spreading fire and letting them like, hey, get the fuck out of here, let's run. He decides to taunt the super demon.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, fucker, I'm right here, you know.
Right.
So, of course, this doesn't work out too well for Plumber, because the demon reaches out with a tentacle made of green smoke and grabs Plumber by the neck, and then it forces a second smoke tentacle down Plumber's throat. And now I guess the smoke tentacle also acts like a hose, because Plumber begins to choke on water, and we see streams of water shooting out from his mouth. Plumber's head and stomach begin to expand from all the water being forced into him. One of his eyes pops out of his head, and his stomach explodes from the inside out. And all the water that was filling up Plumber is blasted across the room, dousing the flames, putting out the fire. The demon laughs as the skeletal remains of Plumber are dropped to the floor. So how now he's melted down to a skeleton, I have no fucking clue how that happens. Like, what? What?
I don't know. I'm just letting you roll here because you're getting very emotional. You're like yelling. You're like, ah! It's fucked up. It's fucking, yeah.
It's like, I get, okay, you're
Does everybody feel Marshall's emotion right now? Marshall's so pissed about this movie right now. It is unreal.
I get, okay, the water's going in, and it's going to blow up. But how's it suddenly become a whole skeleton? He explodes.
Yeah, I know.
But there's a whole skeleton.
I know. What? And this is the point too where like Julie like takes control, right? Like she starts like breathing.
No, because maybe because at this point still they're all just laying there in the pit. Nobody's getting up to run away. Okay, the roof has ripped off this house. The guy said this isn't working.
Right.
He just exploded next to you.
Pretty sure we're still at a point where
and you're like
there was
laying there.
There was a comment made that I can't move. Once the demons started coming in, like they could not get up.
Maybe I missed it. I know Tanya at one point said that because I thought that was okay. The worms or tentacles are holding her down.
Julie almost takes effect right now, and like she closes her eyes.
Yeah, she just lays there calmly.
She almost like meditates.
Yes,
and she starts seeing a vision of her mother.
No, and before that, yeah, that's coming up. Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
right.
Sorry.
No, that's totally cool. Yeah, but now Julie closes her eyes, goes in like her namaste bullshit, like meditation. The walls come to life.
Bullshit. It worked.
It worked. Sorry. As we see hundreds of like skeletal heads like emerge from the wallpaper. And this looks very similar like stuff you see in like Nightmare on Elm Street movies, where like the heads of like screaming victims emerge from Freddy.
It's real fucking shitty though. It's like green. Oh man, it's almost like it's like a fucking laser light show through a smoke machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, it's fucking it pissed me off.
The heads are like screaming out like taunts and like forbidding things. You're gonna die. We're gonna kill you. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it all just seems to stop as this calming bluish whitish light appears, and this is where the ghost of Julia's mother emerges from the light.
Yeah.
Seeing this, Julie smiles, gets up now, so she can get up now. Now
Yeah.
she gets up, and one by one, she just like, hey, she taps the others like, hey, get
Picks
up,
everybody
get
up.
up,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just stand up.
I know.
And they all run out of the house in slow motion.
Yeah.
It's what? Why did you run away a long time ago?
I felt like there was a comment made that they couldn't get up, and then like
So you think, like,
Julie? I think Julie did like because obviously now the writer did a really shitty job of making this noted, but I feel like there was some sort of connection between Julie, obviously Julie's mom because of the picture in the book, and then that she was almost meant to be there to kill the demon. They did a horrible job.
I didn't even get that.
That
I got it was all coincidental.
Again,
like,
I'm sorry. I watched this twice.
I watched it twice too, but I didn't get that.
That's the only thing I could reach.
I'm like, is it even her mom? Because
trying to wrap my fucking head around how this is even possible. I don't know, Marshall. I don't know.
I don't even know if it's her
Maybe
mom because
I'm thinking too much.
They say like
Maybe.
that's not my mom. Why would her mom have anything to do with this house? Like they don't say like, oh, this is her
I know.
mom's childhood house. She
I
grew
know.
up here.
Who's
it was
the fucking director and the writer of this movie?
Brett Piper.
Get a hold of us. Tell me what the fuck is going on here because I do not know. Now I'm getting mad. Son of a bitch.
So yeah, after their slow motion run outside, they watch as the house is engulfed in like flashes of light and green electricity. Which again, this green electricity looks like the shitty stuff we saw in like the Killer Eye movies.
Right.
Like,
Oh
really.
man, yeah.
And the demon is seen in the sparks of electricity that come to a head and then explode.
Mm-hmm.
So the house then is covered in massive roots that leap up out of the ground, and then it explodes and collapses in on itself.
yeah.
Like, what is going on? And then, just like Jake's car, the remains of the house are like sucked down into the earth. Cut to the next morning.
Yeah.
Julie wakes up, finds herself with her head resting on Lisa's lap.
Which, hey.
She stands up, looks for the house, but instead of the house, they find just this giant hole.
Lisa says, we thought we'd let you sleep.
Yeah.
Seriously? You guys just hanging out in the
He's
fucking
like,
middle of the
we're
woods?
getting the fuck out of here.
A house just got sucked into a fucking hole. You're just going to let Julie take a nap?
Nap, exactly. He's like, we're getting the hell out of here. You can sleep later.
I will carry you out of this bitch, but we are not staying here. We're running.
Yeah, so instead of the house, they find this giant, seemingly endless hole in the ground, like this bottomless pit.
Yeah.
Julie then mentions, like, hey, I didn't dream this time while I was asleep.
Yeah.
That's it. The others walk off. Julie stays. Lisa notices that Julie's crying a bit, so she goes back and says, hey, everything's going to be all right. Julie smiles and says, it is, isn't it? It really is. They walk off, and like, with Lisa's arm around Julie, they walk off all buddy. The camera zooms in on the hole as it goes down the hole. Fade to black. Roll credits. That's fucking Drainiac. Holy shit. Yeah. So many unanswered questions. So many issues with this. But let's go into favorite kill.
There can be only one. Favorite kill.
Seriously? Okay.
Seriously? Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, we only had a few to choose from.
I think what they should have done is...
Look here. I counted 5, and that's if you count the rat.
Yeah, if you count the rat. Yeah, there's not money.
know?
There's barely any to choose from. Which is one of my other arguments. They should have killed, like, Jake, Lisa, or not, maybe not Lisa, but Tanya.
Definitely should have died.
Tanya and Jake should have died. Then you could have had Lisa and Julie, the two friends at the end, like, hey, we made it. Let's get the hell out of here.
He needed 5 people for the pentagram, so...
They could have died during the demon.
Yeah,
like, something could have
I
happened.
agree.
Like, Plumber died.
Something.
They did not all need to survive that.
Nope.
So, anyway, what we do have is what we have. That's all we got to work with. So,
Okay.
let's go. Favorite kill. What do you got?
Man. I think I'm gonna have to go with the first kill. Honestly,
The bum in the basement.
It was fucking cool. I thought it was kind of cool to start the movie because it made me feel like something was gonna happen throughout the movie. You know, you look at that finger and you see a little skull thing.
Yeah,
And it
demon
did
head.
it did the filming where it, like, obviously it was running down his arm, but then they reversed it to where it running up his arm,
Yeah.
and then up his face, and then the melting, and then suddenly it's like melted skeleton. The other bum's like freaking out, running out the window, and I mean, right off then, I'm thinking this has possibility.
That's the other thing. They could have killed the other bum. The other bum doesn't need to get away. Like, they could have just killed them both.
He could at least come back at some point in the movie and been like, "Stay away from this house."
Yeah, he could have been the crazy old guy.
That would have been cool.
Like every other horror movie, had the crazy weird guy.
But nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go with the first
one.
Fucking
kill. That's a solid choice. I was torn between either Wade or the father, because they're both just horrible people. They're awful characters.
True,
but
the kills suck. You don't actually see them like die or like
true.
Fucking.
But I gotta stick with I've gotta stick with this. I've always any kind of decapitation. I've always kind of stayed with that, and I've done those like 3 or 4 times now. I've always gone with like if something happens, guy's dick gets ripped off and is killed.
Hey man, Wade deserved to die,
and that's what he deserved it. He was a rapey motherfucker.
Before he died, he tried to rape fucking Tanya, and then he punched Lisa right in the fucking mouth.
So I mean, he gets his dick ripped off and then gets sucked down a toilet.
Good for him.
Yeah, I'm going with Wade.
All right,
Wade is gonna be my favorite kill in this movie.
I will back that up 100%.
So let's move on to odds and ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
Please, because I would like to know what the fuck is going on with this and what the hell happened.
Okay, ratings for this movie. IMDb gives it a 4.6 out of 10, which I think is too high. There is no official thermometer score on Rotten Tomatoes.
I can't imagine there would be.
However, this is our second movie now that has a perfect 0% audience score.
Wow.
And there's 90 user reviews, and so a 0%.
Really?
Yeah.
So nobody reviewed it?
No, 90 people reviewed it, but every single one of them hated it. So nobody, that's the percent of people who liked the movie. So that's 0 for 90.
Hey. Yeah.
The only other movie we've done on the show that had a perfect 0 was I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. And Amazon gives it a 2.6 out of 5. So even low for Amazon standards. Most of the Amazon movies are at least a 3 or something. But I still think that's still too high.
Yeah,
I'm right there with the Rotten Tomato one, 0%.
2.5 out of 5?
Yeah. Moving on to plot keywords. There were 12 plot keywords. Some of them make...
Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Drain?
Nope.
Slime?
No. Nope.
Poltergeist? Water?
Water, yes.
Okay,
water is
water.
One. Water is one.
All right, asshole dad.
No.
I'm being too specific now. I don't know. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Water was the first one. You got that.
Okay.
Realtor, which there wasn't even a realtor in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Pipes, haunted house,
pipes.
Drunkenness.
Drunkenness?
Apparently the people at the
Now
bar.
they're
But
stretching it.
Yeah,
Come on,
that's a
Jesus.
stretch too. Acid burning, tickling, quicksand, nudity, female nudity, bathtub, and independent film.
Okay. There was one nude scene.
Yeah. So moving on to trivia. Now, surprisingly, I actually was able to. There's a lot of like little trivia nuggets on this movie, which I was stunned by for how crappy this movie was.
All right. I want to get to the nitty gritty.
All right. Well, here we go.
What the fuck is going on here?
This whole movie was shot in 7 days and was mainly shot in Pelham, New Hampshire. So
7 days.
7 days.
Wow.
The majority of the special effects were done in camera. So whatever. Yeah.
How does that work?
I don't know. I guess that means practical effects. I'm guessing. Like him, like the running. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what it says. Alexandra Boylan was still a senior in high school when she was in this movie, and she auditioned for the roles of both Tanya and Lisa. Now, she was the one who played Lisa at the end.
Okay.
The dilapidated house this film was shot in was torn down shortly after production had wrapped on this movie, so the house is no longer there.
Can imagine.
Alexandra Boylan pulled all the ligaments in her left ankle while playing soccer a few days prior to the shooting of the film. The director, Brett Piper, initially planned on recasting her, but she convinced him otherwise to keep her in the movie.
So she had no tendons in her. She ripped all the tendons in her foot, but she still filmed the movie.
Yeah. So I give it, good on you, Alexandra Boylan, but man, you could have.
And she was the one who played Lisa, right?
Yeah. Lisa was probably the one who turned to be my favorite of the characters in this movie.
Yeah. Well, she had the biggest boobs. But...
Yeah, but you don't see him. But yeah,
Oh no.
all the exterior
Bummer.
shots of the rundown house were a miniature, were a model, and it says the miniature took a month to build
So they actually built a model
of the shitty house
Yeah, I can
for like the
imagine.
one
I can
for
see
like
that.
when it
Yeah,
sinks
yeah,
in the
yeah.
house.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
sinks.
I totally. Yes.
Ethan Krasno, Krasnoo, who played Jake. It was his own car they used in the movie. So the
No
one he's
shit.
driving, that was his car.
Of course.
The opening sequence with the two derelicts was shot in front of the house of director Brett Piper's sister. Moreover, the prologue was filmed in a single day. So that whole scene was shot in one day outside the director's sister's house. The rundown house this movie was primarily takes place had no running water. So there's real. Like that's yeah. All the scene with Georgia Hatzis or Julie alone in the dilapidated house was shot in a single day.
Okay.
And Adrian McCleve, who appears in the movie as she's the naked ghost that Jake sees at the end. She was a stripper from Boston. And the Wall of Skull sequence in the film's climax was shot on Christmas Eve. And lastly,
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know, but that's what they put. And lastly, a third of the budget was spent on this movie being shot on 16 millimeter film stock. So there's their
Yeah.
lower crop. There it is.
Right.
So that's
Would you say that a
16 millimeter. Is that what you're asking?
How much of the budget?
A third of the film went into just for
Third of the budget.
Yeah, just went into the film stock.
Holy shit.
Speaking of the budget, that brings us to
God.
the budget game.
They spent how much? The budget game.
Yes, I actually surprisingly have budget on this movie. I can't believe I got the budget on this and not other movies, but here we go. Chris, what is your guess for the budget of Drainiac?
Can we play Price is Right rules?
You want Price the Right rules? So since you're the only one, yeah, well, I'll give you Price the Right rules.
right.
But I mean, you still.
Let's talk this out for just a second, okay? There are no people in here that would require any amount of money.
Mm-mm.
We just talked about the fact that a lot of it was shot. It was shot in a week,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it was shot at his sister's house,
Yeah.
a dilapidated house that got torn down the following day after filming.
Yeah,
It was
shortly after,
right,
right afterwards, pretty much.
dude. Price is Right rules. 10 grand.
10 grand. Okay. Now, you might be surprised at this. I was, but the budget of this movie, $17,000.
What?
Yeah.
Oh! Big winner! Ding ding ding!
Technically you win,
Going
but,
over. I guess.
but you're the only one here.
I don't know, dude. I know, but
You're 7,000 off, but yeah, you came in under. You came in under, but 17,000 was one of the budgets I saw. I did see another one that said that did list at $10,000, but that was I saw two different sources, so I aired on. I went with the 17 just in case.
Yeah.
So depending on which one is actual.
I just couldn't imagine there being any money in this movie.
Oh no, I
You said
can't.
a third of it went to.
The film alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess I did shoot a little low.
it's all right. Let's bring us to
Whatever.
5-star reviews.
These special movies have a place in these special people's hearts. 5-star reviews.
What?
Yeah, 5-star reviews. Now there were only one 5-star review for this movie.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
From
Thank you.
LS. This is pulp horror as an art form. All the right ingredients. Immediate story hook, creepy house, hot naked chick in the bathtub, gore, and cool low budget effects. In all, a gross organic blast. 5 stars. Bullshit.
Yeah. Well,
Now, just because
except
that
for
was
the
only,
budget effects, I will stand by that.
I did want to go into like the 1-star reviews because
Let's do
I
that.
need to. From Frederick Nordstrom. You just want to kill yourself for sitting through this whole movie. 1 star.
Yeah, well, I watched it twice, Frederick. So.
And this is just a comment on that was left in IMDb. It's not really one. It's just a simple comment says Brett Piper should be banned from directing. 1 star.
Do you have any info on this Brett Piper? Who?
Not
Nothing?
really. Like, he's gone. He has directed other movies since
Really?
then. Like he's gone like other like low budget horror movies, but
Nothing.
nothing. No.
He should be like, no.
Yeah, I agree with you. But let's make this official. Let's put this one in the book. So, Chris, what's your last official words on this movie?
Again, the only thing I really enjoyed was the shitty effects with the water and the way shit. It had me in the beginning with the bums. I was like, man, this has a possibility, and then completely killed it from then on out.
All right.
I gotta say, So Bad It's Scary.
Yeah, no surprise there. I'm going to agree with you 100%. So Bad It's Scary. This movie is awful. It's not even worth watching for a joke or just avoid it.
Yeah.
So whoever the person, I really apologize for the person's name who suggested this to us, but that was an awful movie, but we did it. We made it through it. We sat through it. So Bad It's Scary. Speaking of listener votes or suggestions, next week we will be back with another listener suggested movie called Charlie's Farm. It's an Australian movie. We'll be back with that next week. So in the meantime, remember to follow us on Facebook. Check out our website, horriblehorrorpodcast.com. You can follow us on Twitter for any news updates and when we post new shows and anything like that on Twitter at So Bad It's Scary. You can also do that on Instagram under Horrible Horror Podcast. And then to listen to the show, spread it around, spread it like a virus. You can listen to it at 3 different options. Podbean at horriblehorrorpodbean.com and iTunes. So download, subscribe to us, 5 stars there. And then, of course, the newest one being Google Play. You can check us out there. All that's 100% free to you. And also keep in mind, we also love to get any kind of feedback. If you have suggestions for movies, send them in. Let us know if there's something you like, you don't like. Give us your feedback.
I hope Piper is listening to this and let us know exactly what you were thinking when you wrote this movie.
Yes, Piper. Which surprisingly, actually, we did get just as a shout out from the director of Hellbride, our last movie. He's like, sorry, you guys. This was on Twitter. He's like, sorry, you guys despise the movie so much. It meant no harm, but check out the show. Thanks for keep it up. So he was a good sport about it.
Good deal.
And speaking of good sports and other people, like I said, Aaron wasn't here today, but happy it is Aaron and Melissa's 1-year wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary to them.
Happy anniversary, guys.
And in the meantime, everybody, remember, check out more horror movies, and always remember, keep it tight.
For real.